Listen, baby, the fastest way to get to peace is through authenticity. It's to be honest with yourself. See, and that is like one of the hardest things to do because a lot of times we've made decisions in the past that we haven't set with and we haven't reflected on and that we haven't accepted and forgiven ourselves for. So the truth of the matter is that nothing gets better until you get honest with yourself. You got to get honest with yourself and you got to be comfortable with where you are. And even if it's uncomfortable where you are because this is your first time living in this authenticity of like your feelings and being vulnerable to express yourself and, speaking up for yourself, even if this is the first time and it's uncomfortable, you got to understand that it's for a good reason. Like, right? Like, this is because you're trying to move forward. And so when you know that sometimes your feelings can lie to you too, right? They can try to make you abort a mission. They can try to make you try to explode or try to just respond in a way that's not conducive to, where you're trying to go. So you got to be cognizant of, how you feel, but you also have to manage your feelings, okay? This is all about just being real with ourselves and learning how to self-manage ourselves. That's the quickest way to peace. That's the quickest way to level up. That's the quickest way to get to a space where you are truly comfortable, where you are truly happy with yourself, okay? Like, I'm trying to tell you, honesty and having your heart in the right posture and knowing that God is the one that's going to create the path before you and that all things is going to work out for your good. Baby, let me tell you, learn the lesson that you need to learn, because a lot of times I know in my personal life, every time it was time for me to level up, there was this same test that would keep coming up. And until I was able to conquer my own emotions, my own fears, and be uncomfortable and decide to walk through that door with my head held high and not be ashamed about how it's going to be perceived and not be ashamed because of the wrongs that I made, but to say, you know what, this is who I am and I accept me, that's when I became a full grown woman. That is when I began to live the authentic life. That is when I began to walk into my purpose. When I forgave myself and owned how I feel and owned my mistakes. So forget what everybody else is saying. You got to love you and you got to accept your wrongs and you got to forgive yourself. And sometimes it's just forgiving yourself for not knowing no better. Because sometimes we just don't know. We don't know because our discernment haven't kicked in. Okay, sometimes we love people just because we want to feel love, not knowing that we are supposed to be feeling that way first, and we can only feel what we give ourselves. Because whatever is going on in the inside, the person we meet is going to reflect that right back to us like a mirror. Okay? I hope that helped somebody. It was just on my heart. Truth, love, and transparency always coming from your girl. Go on with your day and remember you're big blessed. Peace.